You can put your business information in the chat. And so Donna Lisa, I was so happy to have Darcia in our group. She, as you know, was one of our grant winners and accelerator, and her nomination for Startup Evangelist. We are super excited for that, and congratulations for that, Darcia.
All right, we are live on Facebook. We are recording. We're good to go, and it's 8 o'clock. Perfect timing.
Already. Thank you, Donna Lisa. Good morning and welcome, everyone. My name is Tracy Irby, and I'm the director at the Center for Women Entrepreneurs. We're so happy to have all of you here today, and happy International Women's Day, as Donna Lisa said. We have several of our staff on today. Donna Lisa Stinyard is our program director. So if you have questions, you can send them to her, and she'll also be watching the chat. We have Barbara on there. Hey, Barbara. She will be over at Facebook and looking for comments on there as well. So for those of you that aren't familiar with us, the Center for Women Entrepreneurs was funded in 2015 by the state legislature just to help promote women entrepreneurs anywhere in the state of Texas. And we do that through free small business advising, networking and training events like this, funding. We have many different grant programs for women. And we also do research into women entrepreneurs and women in business. The Center for Women Entrepreneurs is part of the larger Jane Nelson Institute for Women's Leadership. And besides our center is the Center for Student Leadership and the Center for Women in Politics and Public Policy. The Jane Nelson Institute is dedicated to preparing more women to take on successful roles in business and public service to ensure women have the education to establish careers as successful C-suite executives, the skills for building entrepreneurial businesses, and the framework needed to run for public office. So we're so happy again to have all of you here today. I'm so excited about today's speaker, and she is a graduate of TWU. Today we have Crystal is someone who loves people and understands the importance of developing others. She has a strong passion for personal and professional development that has been sharpened with over 20 years of experience in human resources, supply chain, and operations management. She is a proud graduate of Texas Women's University and holds a bachelor's and master of business administration degree with a concentration in management. She is also certified in Lean Six Sigma, which has taught her to invest in human capital, eliminate waste, and maximize results. She cares about giving back to the next generation of leaders and serves on the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Board Committee for the Girl Scouts of Northeast Texas. So I'm so excited to introduce our speaker, Crystal Brown.
Thank you so much, Tracy. I greatly appreciate that introduction. And what better way to spend International Women's Day than with these amazing game-changing women? I'm looking at the chat and I'm seeing all the amazing businesses that are in this group. And so I am excited. So I'll share my screen and I'll do an introduction of myself as well. But thank you for this opportunity and privilege to speak to you all. Okay, let me know when you can see my screen. Awesome. Okay, so I am extremely passionate about women in leadership. What better university to attend than Texas Women's University? And it just really goes in alignment with my passion and purpose. So to be asked to speak on the importance of women in leadership was such an honor today. I think that women play an inaugural role in the advancement of our communities, our families. And so it's very important that we understand that we should be in the highest level decision-making positions. And so in the infamous words of the late Ruth Bader Ginsburg, women belong in all places where decisions are being made. So a little bit about myself. I am Crystal Brown. I am a mom of 3 boys. I am a wife of an Army veteran. I have 12 years of experience in the foundation of my career in HR and organizational development. And so therefore, I've had a lot of opportunity to coach others on their own career progression journeys, and I've really enjoyed that. I am a mentor. As you heard, I serve on the board for the Girl Scouts, and I have various other opportunities where I get to serve and mentor others who are up and coming talent, who are young and want to move into opportunities of leadership. I am also the founder of Diligent Living LLC. This is an organization for personal development that I founded back in 2019 because I continued to see there was challenges with women feeling either the courage to step into leadership opportunities or to sharpen the skills they needed to qualify for leadership opportunities beyond their education. And so therefore, I founded this organization to help fill that gender diversity gap that exists in leadership. I am also a healthcare operations leader. As you heard from Tracy, I have been in healthcare for well over 21 years now. I started in human resources as my foundation, moved into supply chain operations, and then now I still also serve in operations for a healthcare organization in North Texas. So in order to really kick off this conversation of the importance of women in leadership, we must first know the current state of women in leadership. So oftentimes I've talked to people and they say, there's not a lot of women at my organization in leadership. And so it becomes discouraging at times, but it really was interesting when I pulled some of the numbers. So 1 in 4 Americans say that there are no women in leadership positions at their current job. Can you believe that in 2022, there are still organizations that do not have women in their highest level leadership roles making decisions? The US Bureau of Labor Statistics shows that there's 21% of C-suite executives in the US that are women. Just 1% of those C-suite executives are women of color. 41 out of 500 of Fortune's 2021 list of successful businesses were led by women. And of those 41, only 2 of those were Black women. The statistics are astonishing, but that lets us know that there's still a lot of work to be done in this space. So why is it important? Why is it important that, given those statistics, we still fight to have our position at the table making decisions? Well, it's important because 2 of 3 Americans say it is especially important for women starting their careers to have women in leadership roles for them to look up to. And as you see from the statistics, 82% of the women that are ranging in the ages of 18 to 34 right now say it's extremely important for them to see someone who looks like them in a leadership role. Now, I think as you see, as the age gets higher, it's a little less important, but I think that's mainly because as the age gets higher, it was more of your norm to not see women in leadership. So it became something that you just kind of got accustomed to. But every once in a while, when you did have the opportunity to have a woman in leadership, a lot of times it was refreshing, right? For them to have someone who could relate to you and could understand. So And ages 35 to 54, you see that percentage is 74%, and 55 and above is 67%. More than 8 in 10 Americans believe that not having women in leadership positions as role models fails to inspire women. It has contributed to preventing women from securing top leadership positions. A lot of times, if you don't see someone in those higher level roles that you aspire for, who look like you, who can relate to the things that you're dealing with, who are understanding what it is to be a working mom and balancing family and all the other responsibilities you have, it starts to become discouraging. You start to believe that it may not be possible. And that's why it's important that we have women in the highest level roles in our different organizations. The importance. Women create the blueprint for the future. We literally have the opportunity. We are the ones who are motivating our children. We're the ones who a lot of times are motivating our spouses and other family members in our household. And so we create the blueprint for what the future will look like based on our impact. We are smashing leadership roles in the workplace when we get into those roles. When you look at the COVID statistics, the countries that weathered the storm with COVID were led by women. Women enhance teamwork. We are very collaborative. We're bold, we're wise. We make decisions outside of the norm. I remember my grandmother growing up, she was always one of those people that could make something out of nothing. There could be the whole neighborhood of kids that stopped by to eat lunch, and she found a way to feed them all. And that's because women are very resilient. We enhance teamwork. We make environments less authoritative and more cooperative. Women are amazing communicators. Female leaders utilize their power to enhance meaningful conversations. It does not matter who you are. A lot of times I have a very diverse workforce of employees that report to me. I work with very diverse work groups, and we all have different communication styles. I have 3 different children, and I have to communicate with each of them differently, but we find a way to get the message across. And that's why women make such amazing communicators. Women provide fresh outlooks and perspectives on things. We bring skills and different perspectives and innovative ideas to the table. I'm doing a series right now on LinkedIn where I am highlighting all of the inventions of things all the way back to the 1800s that were made by women when there wasn't resources out there, but they found a way to make these inventions happen. So when you combine all of those things, we create new perspectives. And because of that, we make better decisions when we're at the table. So what are the benefits? In addition to the importance of having women in leadership, what are the benefits of having us in leadership? More than 70% of Americans say that having more women in leadership positions would have significant impacts on the wage gap, on the changing policies that are necessary, on creating the diverse workforce that looks like us. In Sweden, I did some research, and in Sweden, they literally provide 12 months of paid leave time to women when they have a baby. They also provide 6 months of paid paternity leave time for their spouses to support them. A lot of those decisions are made because there are women at the table that understand the importance of not only you having those first couple of months in your children's lives, but also that they see their father actively involved or their other parent actively involved in raising them. So having women in leadership positions and in the highest level decision-making positions assures that we have fair pay amongst the genders. Many of you guys have seen stats over the years that show that It's not yet dollar for dollar in a lot of opportunities where women and men occupy the same position. We need supportive parental leave policies so that there can be shared caregiving responsibilities for both parents in the household. There's diversity of thought that leads to better problem solving, emotional intelligence, collaboration of different genders, sexual orientations, ethnicities, and races as a result of having women in leadership. And if you don't understand any of those other things, companies that have women in leadership have better profits and productivity. I'd never forget when my youngest son was little, my husband wanted to help me in the kitchen and he made a bottle and he said, "Can you hold him while I make a bottle?" We all know on this call that a lot of times another perk of women is we're very productive. I can hold that baby, make that bottle, clean my house all at the same time. And we bring those same skills into the workforce because as women, we just get it done. We understand that there is a task at hand and nothing stands in our way, not even a colicky baby, that keeps us from getting our things done. And so organizations that have women in leadership have the benefit of those women bringing all those multidisciplinary skills into the workplace. So therefore, the result is greater profits, greater productivity. We are mentors, just naturally, we are mentors. It is in our DNA. So you have increased mentorship, sponsorship, job satisfaction. And because of all of those things, you have decreased turnover rates. And so those things make it really beneficial for not only ourselves, but for the organizations that are open-minded enough to promote women into the highest level decision-making positions. So how do we change the narrative? How do we change how many women feel comfortable putting themselves in the running for the highest level positions? How do we change how many women feel like, you know what, instead of sitting here in this company where they don't recognize my talent, I am going to step outside of my comfort zone and I'm going to found my own company. I am going to lead the change that I want to see. So there's many actions for us to take and continue to take. It starts young. We have to first feel as though these opportunities exist and that we deserve to be in those opportunities. So we have to start nurturing women as leaders early. You heard from Tracy in my introduction that I serve on the board for the Girl Scouts of Northeast Texas. And that opportunity gives me great pride in being able to help shape the leaders of tomorrow. If you're not familiar with Girl Scouts, they do a lot of work to build the courage, confidence, and character of young girls. And so it's important for me to see that that group of young girls is diverse as the organizations and the atmospheres we're going to go into. And so I serve on the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Board for that group. We have to identify an entrepreneur or executive sponsors in our organization. Mentors are great, but sponsors are those people that are going to speak up for you as these opportunities come available when you're not even in the room. They're going to say, oh my, I know a person that would be great for this leadership role. I know someone who would be great to lead this initiative. I know someone who would be great to go into this opportunity. Those are the sponsors that we have to start cultivating early in our careers as we go into entrepreneurial roles and executive roles. We have to take on roles and business opportunities that force us to grow. I say, if the role doesn't give you a little heartache, a little anxiety, it's probably not big enough. So we have to pitch ourselves in these accelerators. We have to do the things that we need to in order to get the biggest, boldest opportunities. There are numerous sponsors that I've benefited from over my career, and many of the times they didn't look like me. And so you have to get outside of your comfort zone in order to cultivate those relationships and sponsors that'll be willing to champion you. We have to reject outdated social norms and expectations. My husband is a retired Army veteran, as you heard me say, and he actually cooks better than I do. And so therefore, he does some of the cooking at our household. He also is in his second half of his life being out of the military. And so therefore, he has the bandwidth to help drop off kids, to help take them to games, so that when I do have to be in early or late meetings, I have that partnership. It is so important that as women aspire to be in the highest level leadership roles, that they have partners at home and family members who can help them be successful in those roles. And so sometimes that means that your strength may be something different than your spouse's or significant other's strength. And that means you have to be willing to support each other. I am strong in finances. So in my household, I tend to lead that initiative because I am very passionate and strong about finances. The same thing goes with the things that you nominate yourself for at work. There's a lot of roles that we aspire to be in that a lot of times are dominated by someone who's different than we are. However, we have to reject that and we have to be willing to step outside of our norms. We have to create supportive environments that allows women to remain active at home and at work. During COVID-19, the statistics are crazy on how the pandemic impacted so many women at work that were forced to resign from their positions because they had to be the ones to go home and take care of their now virtual learners. They had to take care of their family members who had COVID. And so we have to create work environments where, when is necessary, we can shift their work to at home. A lot of us are even more productive at home. And a lot of companies have realized that through COVID, because we're not having all the disruptions that we had in the office. There's not a lot of the water cooler talk. There's not a lot of those things. And so therefore, you're actually that much more productive, and you have the opportunity to have the oversight over your family as needed. We have to partner and collaborate with strong brands. So a lot of us in entrepreneur paths, a lot of times the biggest issue that a lot of entrepreneurs have is the ability to have the funding that they need. But there are a lot of big brands that are willing to partner and collaborate with small businesses. One of the brands that really come to mind with me is Target. Target does a lot of initiatives for bringing in small brands into their different stores. Walmart does the same. And so there's all kinds of programs and things that people can pitch for to partner and collaborate with strong brands. For me, I have strong brands like Texas Women's University, who help expand my platform of reaching amazing women, as my passion and purpose is to help narrow the gender diversity gap in leadership. We have to expand our network beyond our comfort zone. As I mentioned, many of the opportunities that I was granted in leadership opportunities and sponsorship situations were by white males who did not look like me. And so if I only surrounded myself with women, I only surrounded myself with Black women, if I only surrounded myself with people who looked like me, thought like me, I would have missed those opportunities. And so it's so important that we expand our networks beyond our comfort zones. You have to find out who are those key players in the fields that you're in that you can partner with, that you can connect with, that'll lead to great game-changing opportunities. Apply for grants and scholarships to expand your business or increase your skills. When you work for big organizations, a lot of times you have the opportunity to apply for tuition reimbursement and various things like that. Take advantage of that. My whole grad school experience, which was at Texas Women's University, was paid for by my employer. And so those are the kind of things that you want to take advantage of. When you think of business opportunities to expand your organizations and your entrepreneurship endeavors, Texas Women's University offers grants and scholarships through the Center for Women and Entrepreneurs. So those are some great things that you as women can go after that will allow you to expand, your reach and your platforms. So I wanted to give you guys just a couple of nuggets of things that I have implemented in my journey on continuing to expand into leadership opportunities, continuing to grow and develop my own organization as a founder. But I want to know, what are some of the barriers or obstacles that you are, as women, need help in migrating? It is so important that we collaborate and connect as one of us encounter obstacles and barriers to help that other one get over that journey. Because I guarantee you, someone who you've crossed paths with have gone through that, have had that issue. So I want to open this time up for questions that you may have, or barriers that you might need help overcoming on your journey.
Is it Juanita? Is that correct? Janita, I'm so sorry. Janita, go ahead.
Good morning, and thank you so much for the information that you have shared with us. It was definitely informative and enlightening. My question is, can you share insight that you have, or anyone share insight that you have based off of strategy? Because I think one thing that I have learned in business is that you think you have a plan, and you think that it may, it will, go as you planned. But having an understanding on how to strategize helps you use your resources better, helps you use your help better, just kind of getting to your goals just holistically better. So can you share insight on just strategy and how it has helped you?
Yes, that is an amazing question. And I definitely agree that even with the most strategic plan, right, there are COVID, there are family obligations, there are various things that we have to overcome. But what I have found really works for me is that I break down my strategic goals in 3-month increments. So I'll have overarching goals for the year, and then I break it down into tangible bite-sized things that I can accomplish in a 3-month increment. Because obviously planning for a year sometimes becomes a challenge, as you mentioned. And so I have small groups of individuals who I get together with, and we kind of sharpen each other's skills on those goals. And that's where, if I'm running into obstacles or barriers, right then in my little small group that I'm getting together with, we work together to kind of bounce off of each other on what are some ways you can overcome that. A lot of times they extend their network to me. So if there might be something going on with finances or whatever, I've had one of the ladies in my mastermind group who reach out and say, hey, I have somebody for you to help you with that. So it's not about you being the subject matter expert in everything that you're overcoming, because you're not going to be able to do that. But it's about making sure you have the right network of people who can help you through that. Does that make sense?
Most definitely. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
Chantel.
I guess my question kind of was centered maybe more around like the sponsorships. I found that even with COVID, networking, sometimes can be an issue. I have an online like language school, and so yeah, just trying to find those sponsorships, because you talked about Target and Walmart, which that's more of a tangible product, but for like technology based, businesses, what kind of sponsorship would you recommend for that?
Well, I would say whatever your industry is, so technology is your industry, who are some people in the technology field that you've looked at and studied from afar that are overcoming the things or are at the level that you want to be? Because a lot of those organizations have those opportunities, just like Target offers to product-based industries. They have those opportunities for you. So I know I went to an event that the CEO put on about women in STEM. And they're very much about the technology and the sciences of things. The Girl Scouts of Northeast Texas, there is a STEM facility in Dallas that is very much about that. So I think depending on exactly what is your field in technology, I think it's finding who is your kind of person, who's your company, who's that person that is investing in that space, and getting connected with those individuals that can help you, if that makes sense. So have you already done research on who are some people that are where you want to be in the field that you're in?
It's so big, like, you know, we're startup. So even to reach those ones, because of the, you know, just I guess the time that they've been in business, it's just hard to network to find those individuals.
Are there any like professional organizations that govern the field that you're in?
I'm not sure. I guess that's where I would need, you know, just I think networking and really mentorship would maybe play a part to find, to, you know, we talked about strategy, right? My strategy was to look at airlines and so forth and offer services, but then because I have a lot of experience in, you know, in the field, but working for others, not having my own business doing it.
Yeah, so I would utilize LinkedIn. I would utilize some of these bigger platforms that have individuals in your industry. And the great thing about it is you can put in your search in LinkedIn, whatever your subject matter is that you're looking for, and find people that are in that space. Me personally, I am active on LinkedIn. So when individuals that are in the healthcare industry, which is the industry I happen to be in, reach out to me and ask me questions in the chat, I answer them. I direct them to the people that I have in my Rolodex per se. I connect them to opportunities. So I would recommend you start there and utilize that free platform to connect with people that are in your industry who may have networks that are bigger than yours.
That's very helpful. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
So iPhone 903229, before we get to your question, we just have a comment from Facebook. Jane says more that she found in her 35 years plus as a woman chiropractor in what started as a man's world, that more and more women are joining our field, and the idea of having more autonomy for their home and work lives. And I think that's why a lot of women become entrepreneurs. So iPhone 903229, the platform is yours.
Hi, yes, I'm sorry, I didn't realize I didn't put my name. My
No
name
worries.
is Dora. My name is Dora Vega Leja. I absolutely love the information that you shared. My question again is kind of like back to strategy. So I love that. And I know that I'm going to get some information afterwards, but in regards to, because I'm starting up a trucking company. My husband is a trucker. I'm a Hispanic, you know, female, and I want to make a difference. And it's just looking into like getting that business strategy together to see like what brand can we link up to haul goods to make it easier. You know, it's just, you know, I find it, I'm getting, I guess, trying to re-motivate myself to get it going, because I initially started this, you know, approximately about a year ago. And I love that we have this opportunity to reach out and network, because it helps, because I definitely want to impact, you know, other women, you know, especially like our young children, our young girls, you know, especially because I know as a child, as a female growing up, it was quite difficult, you know. I'm 53 years young, and I remember, you know, just growing up back in the day, things were just so much more different. I mean, we've come such a long way, and it is true, you know, we have so many, you know, women that do make a difference, because we take so many other things into consideration when we make decisions. We're not just making those decisions, blindly. We've lived these experiences. We know what's needed. And I want to be able to also motivate, women of color, women, period. But, I know that there are, so many more difficulties and challenges, in communities where there are more people of color. And I just want to help, and I want to be able to hook up with a brand with women that will help, to say, okay, well, we could use a trucking company to help us haul our goods to here, because it's going to help this, this group, do better. And, I want to haul things that are going to make a difference. I want to impact lives. I want to know that what I just want to feel good about what we do. I just don't want to, just work to work. I want to work to help build people up so that they know they have the same power too. I just don't think that they give us this information. And I'm just so glad, and with all the information that Ms. Brown shared, it's just so refreshing, and it just gives me that to just want to keep going and do it, and get all the information I need. But it's kind of challenging. I'm not going to say difficult. It's just been a little challenging, and I just love that I've gotten back into this opportunity, and I really look forward into just trying to build our business so just women can keep helping women grow. And
Yeah, thank you for your comment, Dora. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ashley, I see you have your hand up.
Yeah, I was just kind of curious. So I am a recent college graduate. Apologies, I did not go to Texas A&M University, but I work in corporate communication, specifically in an employee experience, learning and development realm. And so a project I actually was working on was I provided women in our company resources for Women's History Month, including today's webinar. And so that is what brought me here. I guess as someone who is kind of earlier in their career, but I have been fortunate enough to be mentored by other women in leadership in my field. I was just curious if you had maybe specific books or TED Talks or kind of these resources you listen to kind of in your earlier days, where I'm not at the stage of my career yet where I'm immediately moving into leadership, but I'm recognizing that I am in a field that holds leadership and power over other people.
Definitely. So I have about an hour-long commute to and from the office every day. So podcasts are my jam. And so I listen to great books. I listen to great podcasts. And so when you said, are there anything that I listen to? I'm like, yes. So there is a couple of podcasts that I really, really like. One of which is Women at Work by Harvard Business Review. It's a really, really good podcast. And it gives great feedback. There's various different callers that call in, but they give great resources for women. And then also Women Amplified, which is by the Texas Women's Conference, or the Conference for Women. They actually have them in Pennsylvania and California now as well. Those have great ongoing content about various different things and obstacles that we overcome. A couple of books that I love, because what any company's motivation is, I don't care if you're not for profit or for profit, it's to make profit, right? So having the right people in the highest level positions is based on who is going to help them achieve the highest profit. There's a book by Cal Newport called So Good They Can't Ignore You. In every role that I've been in throughout my career journey, starting as a file clerk in medical records early on in my career journey, all the way up to being the director of operations for a hospital system, I have always made sure that in every role, I was so good at that role that they could not ignore me. My gender did not matter. because I was so good at that role. So I hyper focus on staying in my lane and being the most amazing, which means I'm always researching the field that I'm in. I'm always looking at what is the greatest organizations doing in the field that I'm in. And those are the things that I would definitely recommend. There's lots of great books. Sheryl Sandberg has Lean In. There's lots of great books that I would definitely recommend. But those are some just ongoing podcasts that I think would definitely be helpful to you.
That was a great question, Ashley. Do we have any more questions for Crystal? Is it Malin?
Yes.
Go
I
ahead.
have- So I'd like to start off with the first one as I have a goal to develop my professional identity. And I think I have the gist of it. I have to work on my wardrobe, my mannerisms, my presence online. So I have a LinkedIn account. I've been utilizing that. And secondly, I have 2 women in leadership positions, very great to work with. One of them has asked me, how can I better support you? And so, Crystal, thank you for your time. I'm glad that you have a background in human resources. I think about it as human relations. So, when I was asked that question, how can I better support you? I'm like, I think they're doing a good job because what I've told them in regards to feedback they've taken, like, oh, you can probably implement LinkedIn courses and it can help the team. We can have some practice with different departments in regards to our presentation. But what kind of advice would you give me or anyone else that wants to further develop their professional identity and probably add on to that question from my leader, how can I better support you?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, Maylin. And I would definitely say one of the biggest things that I have done is you have to make sure that despite, all of the things that we're going to do to sharpen our skills and to make ourselves better, that you stay true to who you are, because the only person that you can be the most amazing at is being you. So even as you find your image and your style and how you dress and how you carry yourself, how the glasses you wear, you and I fellow glasses wearers, right? Those things have to make you feel like the most highest, confident, amazing woman every day. Because from the time you wake up to the time you go back to bed, you're going to face things that try to make you second guess who you are. And so if you show up as the truest version of yourself every day, and it doesn't mean you're not going to have bad days. There are days where I leave for lunch to go refill my cup because my morning might have been a challenge or I was second guessed. But back to the point that I made of being so good at what you do, know the policies that govern what you do, know the key performance metrics that govern what you do. And I think that confidence that comes from you knowing that you're doing what you're supposed to do, that you're operating at the highest level, and that you're showing up as the greatest version of you every day, makes or breaks that opportunity. And for me, I have to, on the weekends, I do a lot of sports with my kids. And so on weekends, I probably don't put on makeup at all. And my hair is probably back in a ponytail. But come Monday morning, when I'm putting on my armor to go back into that office, it means I'm putting on makeup. I'm putting on my glasses. I'm putting on that armor that makes me feel like I am ready to face my day. And only you know what that is. So outside of, getting advice from people and all of that, you have to also make sure that throughout this growth journey, you stay true to who you are and what your purpose to be. And I hope that's helpful, but it's definitely something I find that as I grew in my career, I started losing myself. And I had to get back to, wait, I don't even like this. Why am I going after this? I had to get back to being the person that I am supposed to be, the person I was raised to be. And so that's one thing that I always give as advice for young and up and coming leaders and professionals. It's make sure that from the color of the jacket you choose to wear every day, that it exalts who you are?
Great question. Hope.
Yes, Miss Crystal, thank you
Ma'am.
so much. I just think you're an amazing woman. I was thinking about leadership, and my question to you is that um, as a mother, a grandmother, a single mom, in a season of life, wanting to give back to the journey of leadership for women, and working with young moms, teen moms, how can, or if that's even a possibility, I know previously I read some things, but the leadership curriculum and program that you all have in even Girl Scouts, do you feel like that can, well, I feel like it would impact these young women and make a difference and leave a legacy for generations to come. Can you speak to that, or what do you think? What do you think, and how do you feel? Your personal response.
So is your question, how can you get more involved in those initiatives?
Well, I'm thinking, I thought about the diversity and inclusion part, and about, we have young moms that are still in school, but for whatever reason that they are a mom, not going into all of that, is that how can they benefit from the leadership programs that are available, so to impact them in their lives for today and for generations to come, and to have those leadership skills that's really life skills that they can continue to use.
Yeah, well, thank you for that question. I think that's an amazing question. So I would definitely say a lot of times we feel like we have to start those organizations, and starting those organizations are great, right? But I think there's also organizations that have great foundations and lots of history and lots of resources in doing just that. I started my journey as a single mom years ago. And so it was so imperative for me, in order to get through that, to be involved at my church. Because as my church had activities for me as a single mom, as my church had activities for my kids, both things helped me. It helped me not have to take it all on that development and growth myself. So as I was going into different groups, and it may not necessarily be at your church, it may be at a local organization like United Way, it may be at a local organization like Girl Scouts. But a lot of these organizations, the Women Genesis Shelter, there's so many different organizations that offer great development and classes and things like that for women, especially women who are on this journey alone as single parents, for them to get the growth and development that they need, and for them to also get the growth and development that they need for their kid. And so when I chose my first church, it was based on, I went into the ministry for singles. My son went into the children's ministry, and we both came out with our cups refilled. Right. And so I think it's finding those organizations where these women can have that support, because I would not have gotten through that part of my life as a single mom and been able to go on. I was going to school at night at the time. So I had a neighbor who was very willing to help me with my son. And so I say all of that to say it means building a village of resources to help you. And as you, being a woman who now wants to give into women like that, it's just sitting down with them, inviting them over to just have wisdom conversation with you. So that may mean a cup of tea and y'all are having conversations. That may mean you volunteer to help watch her kids so that she can study for her class that she's taking that night. It really is not the grandioso things that are done when you're in a situation like that. It's the small little things that people are willing to do to help you day to day get through that journey.
So are you available for us to reach out to you to question you further? I'm just asking, Miss Crystal.
I am. And so Donna Lisa will be sharing with you all my contact information. I've already provided her with that. And I am always open to connecting with individuals because I do feel like this is my passion and purpose, to help people get through the journeys and obstacles that I've had the benefit of overcoming.
And then we had one last question, so Trissa on Facebook, she says, I'm new to this program. You mentioned a mastermind group. How can I engage with such a group? So that's not for the Center for Women Entrepreneurs does not have a mastermind, but maybe Crystal can share a little bit about the one that she's involved in and maybe some steps of looking for one that maybe would apply to that you would be looking for.
Yes. So in the information that I've provided, Donna Lisa, to provide you guys as attending to this, there is a link for how to find out about the mastermind that I'm involved in. I get that question often, and it's a group of like-minded women who get together to help push ourselves on our career journeys, whether it be entrepreneurial endeavors or executive leadership development. And so Donna Lisa has that information and she will share it with you all.
Awesome. Well, Crystal, thank you so much. This was amazing. I don't know if you have one more slide or if we just, yeah.
So I just want to thank you all for allowing me to speak today on this amazing day, International Women's Day. Treat yourself to something amazing today because you deserve it. Follow me on LinkedIn. I am Crystal V. Brown on LinkedIn. And so every day this month, I am highlighting an invention that was created by a game-changing woman. And so I would definitely say, follow me. It's been exciting for me, even doing this research, discovering all the great things that were made by way of a woman founder, entrepreneur, that was willing to invest in that. And this was back, like I say, some of these go back to the 1800s. So I would definitely say, follow me there. If you ever want to reach out and connect, you can reach out on my website, diligentLiving.co. I also have information there. I do videos and different things like that to just share my journey and the things that I've learned along the way. So I would love to connect with you all, love to brainstorm with you all and strategize with you all on how to keep you going on this journey of being a woman in leadership, whether it be as an executive or an entrepreneur. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Crystal. And I see we had somebody ask about a contact list in the chat. So we don't share a contact list. However, you can save you could click the 3 dots in the chat box and download the chat from today's event and connect with people that way. So Tracy?
Great, thank you. Crystal, that was so awesome. And I've done wrote an article before about women and their incredible inventions. And it's quite amazing as you go through so many things that you didn't realize that women invented. So it'll be great to follow and see what you have. Again, thank you. We appreciate you so much. I did let people know in the chat that for other alum of TWU, there is a speakers bureau if they would like to register as well. And that can be for anywhere at TWU. Donna Lisa, thanks for all you did today. I do want to announce that we have extended our Advance Her grant. Now, this grant is very specific. You have to have 3 to 20 full-time employees. Once a grant is written, there's no changing anything about it, but it is for high growth industries. So if any of you are in that, meet all the qualifications, we're giving away $25,000 grants. That is an incredible opportunity for women. So please check it out on our website. And if you have, and Donna Lisa added it to the chat, but if you know anyone eligible for that, please send this information to them and have them apply with us. Happy International Women's Day. We're so happy to spend it with everyone. And Donna Lisa, I'll come back to you. What have we got coming up?
So I'm going to go ahead and launch our poll if everybody will take a moment and do that. And while you're doing that, I will share. So for April, we actually have Peggy Edge. She's coming in to talk about how to leverage LinkedIn for marketing for your business. So I know we talked about LinkedIn a little bit here today, and how it's a fantastic way to network and find people in your industry. Well, it is also a great way to market your business. And so we will have her in April. And then originally we were going to do our second quarter evening event, April 21st, with Amber Fletcher from Fletcher's Corny Dogs. But we're actually moving that to April 28th. Information will be coming out about that soon. And then we're also working on our first Saturday workshop of the year. It is scheduled tentatively for May 7th. And we have some excellent franchise owners from Chick-fil-A who are going to come in and talk about giving great customer service, as well as kind of looking at our own personal communication skills. And so all of that will be coming out soon. And I think that's all I've got, Tracy.
Okay, great. And what's always so fun about Amber Fletcher, she's bringing the food truck, right?
Yes, yes, she is bringing the food truck. She's going to be talking about starting a food truck business. What does that look like? And we had her a couple years ago, and it was a really, really great program. And she's learned a lot since COVID and has a lot more to share. So we're really excited about that.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much, everyone. We appreciate you for attending today. We are going to go back to breakout rooms for a little more networking. This is a great opportunity for you to meet other women entrepreneurs. So again, thank you everyone for being here today.